$1 Million Baby.
This film blows.
Watching this movie is like the spiritual equivalent of falling down the stairs for 15 minutes, then falling up the stairs for 30 minutes, and then falling off a building for the final 10, ending in a resounding splat into a pile of dog shit. This movie's so bad, guys, you don't understand. How the hell did it win an Oscar? In this film, we're hit with everyone's favorite, unnecessary N-word. It literally serves no purpose to the story, so hearing it here feels really weird and uncomfortable. Not to mention Morgan Freeman's character. Poor Morgan Freeman, he deserves so much better than this. His character's name I cannot be bothered to look up, because I don't want to think about this movie any longer than I need to, fell into the whole helpful slave trope. His character exists only to serve the white main characters. If the racism wasn't bad enough for you, this movie is also really weird towards women. The main woman character, Maggie, isn't really the main character. This movie cares more about Clint Eastwood's character and emotions. Maggie is an infinitely more interesting character, but she gets completely shafted by this movie. Also, they infantilize her. Despite her being a 32-year-old, she's treated like a kid in over her head. And, no. That is a grown-ass woman. Treat her like an adult, asshole. While we're on the topic of characters, the characters in this film are unlikable and atrocious. All this movie cares about is Clint Eastwood's character. He's just terrible, and not likable in the slightest. But I do love the character of Maggie. She was actually interesting and compelling, but this movie didn't seem to think so. She got completely shafted by this film. I just wish her character was in a better movie. Not to mention, none of the performances were anything that special. The only performance that was even good was Morgan Freeman, because he's Morgan Freeman. He's an incredible actor, and of course his performance is good. All the others are so bland and forgettable. Before watching this movie, I was indifferent to Clint Eastwood, and now I strongly dislike him. I would love to criticize this movie's bad visuals and boring and terrible set design and costume design, but I can't see them because the lighting is so bad. I couldn't see anything in an even remotely dark scene, but maybe it's for the better. The less of this movie I can experience, the better. The story is very generic, repetitive, and boring. Woman wants to do sport. Jaded old mentor who doesn't want to train them until eventually gives in and trains her. She's winning until she loses. Then the last half hour is the worst thing I have ever seen. She becomes paralyzed from the neck down, and the movie slows down to an absolute crawl. Maggie gets really depressed and tries to kill herself multiple times. And she asks Clint Eastwood's character to kill her. If this movie thoughtfully and tastefully explored the topic of medically assisted suicide, that could be a very interesting ending. A good way to do it would be to focus on Maggie and her emotions, and thoughts leading up to her decision to die. But no. This movie does the worst thing it probably could have done. This movie, it doesn't focus on the person who wants to die. No, it focuses on Clint Eastwood's emotions and his dilemma to put Maggie out of her misery. Oh, but to kill someone or keep her alive but suffering, I don't know if this was the movie's intention. But the message I got from it at the very end was, it's better to be dead than horribly disabled, which is just the perfect cherry on top to this shit sundae of a movie. So if you're ever presented with the opportunity to watch this film, take the DVD and throw it into a blender. You'd be doing a community service. Ah, thank God. Now that we're done talking about an atrocious film, I now get to talk about Spiderverse.
Like, what's up, danger?
This is more than just an animated film. It's an experience. This is a 12 out of 10 movie. Movies like this don't just happen. This movie is what happens when every aspect of a film perfectly comes together, with an impactful and tight script, fantastic fleshed out characters, arguably the most beautiful 3D animation ever, and an incredible soundtrack. Just to name a few things.
Like, what's up, danger?
This is the prettiest non-2D animated film I have ever seen. Like, it's not even close. Every frame feels like it was meticulously crafted to perfection. This movie had over 100 animators working on it. They had 3D animators doing the base animation and movements. Then they had their team of 2D animators go over and give the movie its distinct comic book style. The movie has regular impact frames to help the action seem even more epic, not to mention all the wordless storytelling this movie does. One of my favorite blink and you miss it details are how they make things go in and out of focus to draw the viewer's attention. This movie looks so good. Why do you think every single animation studio has been copying its style for the past few years? Another thing this film exceeds in the visual department is the character design. Chef's kiss. I love the character design so much. Every character is distinct and stylish. Some highlights are the other spider people and their mixing of different art styles, but also Kingpin. He is in fact peak character design.
Like, what's up, danger?
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is not just a great film, but also a fantastic Spider-Man film. It's full of awesome references and interesting and cool subversions of tropes and expectations. One of my favorites is with Doc Ock. Peter B assumes that the head scientist they're looking for is some portly man hunched over a computer. Instead, she's a hippie lady. They even make a joke about it.
Step 1, I infiltrate the lab. 2, find the head scientist's computer.
That lady with the bike is the head scientist. I saw her in this documentary at school.
Cool. Step 3, I re-examine my personal biases.
And it turns out she's Doc Ock. They give really cool hints to it before with all the octagons and spare tentacle parts around her office. This movie does that a ton, where they leave small little references for those in the know and for the biggest Spider-Man fans to pick up. One of the best examples of this is during the Spider People's comic book introductions. They are chock full of references to other Spider-Man media. They even make a joke about Comic-Con.
Like, what's up, danger?
The characters in this movie are so good. The main trio are so well developed. They all have interesting and really good character arcs that actually impact the story. This story focuses on Miles and his journey, as well as his relationship with the people around him. Throughout the film, Miles is flooded with mentor figures. His dad, his Uncle Aaron, the other spider people. He has to sort through it and figure it out throughout the film. It's really interesting to see. The other two main spider people, Peter B and Spider-Gwen, are very compelling characters. You get invested in their journey, and you just want Peter B to get his life back together and re-find his passion for being Spider-Man and his internal conflict of having kids. And then there's Spider-Gwen. She has to relearn how to work with people and open up to others. All the characters are so compelling and their stories are very interesting.
Like, what's up, danger?
You might have already picked this up from what I've already shared, but this movie is so fucking funny. The comedic timing is so on point, and it's really out there. It's hard to explain comedy while still retaining the comedic factor. This movie always has me laughing throughout, despite me having seen it tens of times.
Like, what's up, danger?
The music is fantastic. All the major characters have main themes, and the way the themes blend together so expertly enhances every scene's emotions. One of my favorite themes is the Prowler. It's skin crawling, it gives me the chills every time. A chilling theme to perfectly represent this character. All the spider people have unique themes that reflect them and their personalities. Spider-Gwen's theme is so rad. It's a cool pop punk rock theme that perfectly reflects Gwen as a character. One thing I love about the movie is that Miles doesn't really have a distinct theme that's his, like the other spider people. He has themes for certain moments, like his Rising Up theme. But it isn't until the end of the film that Miles has a distinct theme, once he's come into his own as Spider-Man.
Like, what's up, danger?
The best part of this film, undisputedly, is the What's Up Danger scene, when everything comes together. This film has so many different parts and elements that all end up paying off. It has so many callbacks to earlier in the movie, and most of them appear in Miles' character arc. The other characters will do something, and then later in the movie, Miles does that same thing. Like the maneuver Perfect Peter does at the beginning of the film. Miles then does that same move at the very end of the film. And nowhere is everything coming together more clear, more obvious, more fantastic than the What's Up Danger scene. Just the payoff is incredible, and this scene is just what animation had been leading up to that point. If you have not seen this movie, watch it. Watch it. It's so good. You will not regret it. Like, I don't think we're ever gonna get a movie this good ever again. But I'm so glad we got it.